Hello students, just observe the pictures which are on the board. Hello students, today we are going to discuss with you a very interesting topic, that is cell structure and function. In this video we will talk about cell structure and types of the cells, size of the cell, shape of the cell little bit. So before going to start this chapter, I am simply asking a question that this room wall is made up of very small units, and we know that these units are called as bricks. The small units through which a wall is made up of, which is called as bricks. Similarly, our body or all the organisms are made up of cells. You can see in this slide, this picture, onion peel cells, and these are stomata which are there in the leaves. Then we have an important question that who discovered the cell first time. So there was a scientist whose name was Robert Hooke. He has this primitive kind of a microscope that is not as much advanced as which is I am having right now in my hand. This is the slide. Like this, on slide he has observed the cells of a bark of a tree, cork of a cell. So discovery of the cells, Robert Hooke in 1665 discovered the cell in the slice of a cork. Cork is just bark of the tree, and you can see here the honeycomb-like structures which he termed cell. So he discovered first time cell. Then Anton van Leeuwenhoek is another scientist who discovered the living cell, because these were the dead cells. Then we have another important thing that we need to discuss, that as I have told you, this wall is made up of small bricks. Similarly, our body is made up of cells. So there is a very important theory which is called as cell theory, which was also given by very prominent scientists Sheldon and Sir John. They simply tell that all the plants and all the animals are made up of cells. Then there are some organisms which are only made up of one kind of cells. We call them as unicellular organisms. You can see unicellular organisms are those organisms, they are made up of only one cell, like amoeba. You can see in the picture, this is the picture of an amoeba which is of single cell. Then in the same way, amoeba, paramecium, euglena, they are made up of single cell. And when I am just drawing the diagram of a paramecium, it is just sleeper-like shape, like your foot. This is the diagram of a paramecium. It has actually two nuclei. One is called as macronuclei, another is called as micronuclei. This is macronuclei, and this is micronuclei, and these hair-like structures you can see, these are actually called as cilia that help the organism to swim in water. This is paramecium. Similarly, euglena. Yeast is also made up of single cell. So there are some organisms which are made up of single cell, and single cell has to perform all the function in that particular organisms. Then there are multicellular organisms, the organisms which are made up of more than one cells. Example, human beings. Human beings, plants or other organisms which are multicellular, they are called as multicellular because they are made up of more than one cells. Then we have another important thing, which is shape of the cell. Have you seen the cells are of different shapes, different sizes? I have also prepared a slide, and you can see this instrument. This is called as microscope. In the first chapter also, microorganism, I have told you, microscope is an instrument which is used to observe the microorganism. In the same way, I have just made a slide. This is of onion peel. Right now I cannot show you, but you can see the picture. This is the peel of a leaf. Same way, this is the onion peel. When you have a peel of an onion, you will see the cell like this, and when you have the peel of a leaf, you will see the stomata. Stomata are the minute pores which are present in the epidermis of the leaf. They help in the exchange of the gases. You can see I have put a small, we can say, peel from this leaf. This is aloe vera, and I have put it on the slide. I have put a drop of water as well as a stain which is called saffron. I have put it to make it colorful, make it more visible, more clear. And when I observe it under the microscope, called as eyepiece, these are called objective, this is called stage, this is called as mirror, which reflect the light, which fall on my eyes, and I will be able to see the slide. When the schools will open, then I will show you the slide. So, I was talking about shape of the cell. Shape of the cell is a very important factor for the functioning of the cell. All the cells are of not same kind of a shape. When I am talking about amoeba, it is having an irregular shape, and this shape is keep on continuously changing. And why this shape is changing? Because this amoeba has to move in the water. It has to engulf the food material. So it keep on changing its shape. Like amoeba, our WBC, our blood cells are also having amoeboid shape. They will also engulf the microorganism. When any microorganism enter into our body, they will engulf it, digest it, and we will not get any kind of an infection. So WBCs are called as the soldiers of our body. Then when I am talking about RBC, you know RBCs are the red blood cells. They are circular in shape, and actually they are we can say on the both the side they are just little bit pressed, and that particular shape helps them to move in the blood vessels. Then RBCs have hemoglobin. They have particular shape. They have to carry the hemoglobin. If their shape is distorted, if there is some disease which you will study in higher classes, that is sickle cell anemia, these RBCs become sickle shaped. So that will create a problem in the transport of the oxygen. Similarly, you know the platelets, they are of different size, they help in the coagulation of the blood. There are another important cell which are there in our body, which I am going to draw here. You can see, this is the diagram of a nerve cell. This is the diagram of a nerve cell, or we call it as a neuron. Neurons are the longest cell of human body. And you can see here these hair-like structures which are actually called as dendrites. This is called as cell body. Cell body. This long part is called as axon. And this is called as nerve ending. Nerve ending. Nerve ending. So this is having a different shape. This is the cell which is present in our brain, which is present in spinal cord as well as in the sense organ. These carry the messages from body part to the brain, and again from brain to the body parts, or from body part to the spinal cord, and spinal cord again back to the body parts. So these cells are having a different shape. Similarly, in our muscles, our body has muscles like skeletal muscles. Right now I am writing with my hand, so my skeletal muscles are moving. There are another kind of muscles which are there in our stomach, in alimentary canal. These are called as smooth muscles. They are spindle shaped. So similarly, heart muscles, they are of different kind. So different kind of cells have different kind of a shape because they have to perform different functions. So shape is related to the somewhere function of a cell. Every cell has to perform the different function, so that's why they have different shape. Then another question, which is size of the cell. Now we can say cells are very small that cannot be even observed with a naked eye. They are very small. We need a microscope to observe them. This is a light microscope. We need microscope to observe them. But cells are also very big, very huge enough. We can easily see them with naked eye. Like egg is also a cell. Egg of an ostrich, which is the largest cell, and the smallest cell, which is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer, that is of bacteria. Mycoplasma is also there. Then largest cell, which is 170 millimeter to 130 or 135 millimeter, that is egg of an ostrich. So we can simply say the cells are of different shape, different sizes. The organisms are also made up of one cell or made up of many cells, and the many cell organisms which are made up of more than one cell are called as multicellular organisms. And in multicellular organisms, there is a division of labor. Every cell has to perform a particular function. For example, in human body, I am talking about muscular cells. They have to perform the different functions which is called as related to the movement of the food, related to the movement of the limbs, or related to the contraction and relaxation of heart. When I am talking about blood cells, WBC, RBC, platelets, they have to perform the different functions. When I am talking about nervous tissue, nerve cell, they have to perform different functions. When I am talking about skin cell, squamous epithelial cell, they have to perform the different functions that we will study in class 9. But we are simply what we have understood today. I think you have got the idea that cells are the building blocks of all living organisms. And I can simply say cell is called as structural, functional and basic unit of life. We have just discussed structural unit of life. We will talk about basic unit as well as the functional unit later on when we will study the function of cells. So I hope you have understood that cells are the building blocks of all the living organisms. Cells are the structural and the smallest unit of life. Without cell, a single organism, amoeba, is capable of doing all the function which I am doing, which I as a multicellular organism doing. Amoeba is performing the function of nutrition. Amoeba is performing the function of digestion, excretion, reproduction, transport of material. All the functions is performed by single cell. But in our body there is a division of labor. My circulatory system, my heart is taking part in the transport of blood and all other things. Similarly, we can say our muscular system is performing the functions of movement and all other things. So there are different kind of systems which are there in our body which perform the different functions. Then we have also discussed the organism on the basis of number of cells, unicellular, multicellular. Shape of the cell is different according to the function, and then size of the cell. Size of the cells can be very small, can be big enough. So I hope you have understood this. So just go through the things which are there on the green board, note them down and try to learn all these important terms. Thank you.